Hello and welcome all. So, it's been a while now since we've heard any sort of news from Subnautica Below Zero's move over to console. They have lately changed some things in the beta version of the game. Things like a totally new intro cinematic, a few new voices, new journal entries and conversations all to hear. They posted on the official Subnautica webpage about a week ago now explaining their approach to story and how the recent state of the world has affected their recording. Now look, you might be wondering, why would I mention all of this? Doesn't sound like great news. Well, it's because I'm guessing the console move is probably going to be put back a little while yet. It's all good movement for the beta at the moment, it's just been slowed by the unfortunate times we're all in. But progress has been made, which is always a positive sign for a full release, and then technically would be a move over to console next. So here's to hoping. I do think it's going to take a little bit longer than what we might have all been thinking. That might be why they've been quite quiet on the whole subject lately. But that's where I think we're at with it. So, with all that in mind, I wanted to put together a little list of things for console players to get excited about in Subnautica Below Zero. Just a few features and a few new items for all of us to have a look at and see what is going to be different between the two games. So kicking us off, we're going to be looking at the new storyline. So the storyline in Below Zero follows the story of a woman named Robin Goodall. Her job was to investigate the nearby ruins to gain an understanding of alien technology and the culture. As I mentioned, this time your character does have a voice and won't be completely alone on this planet. I'm honestly intrigued by what the story has to offer this time around, especially as they've done this rework to the story lately. I don't really 100% know what the story was beforehand. As a console player, we haven't been lucky enough to play any sort of beta for this. I've seen a few bits and I've seen all the bits that have come out for the story change. But for what it was previous, I don't know if it was a huge difference. So if anyone would like to comment about that, if they've actually been lucky enough to play it, let us know below. Then moving swiftly on to temperature. Now, in case you haven't guessed, Below Zero is set in a frozen world where temperature is a major game mechanic, where the weather can change and cause an extreme drop, and also in some instances spikes in the weather. It's something that was a major, oh, it wasn't a major factor in the standard Subnautica. It was there, but nowhere near as extreme as this, to the point where your character, Robin, when she's cold, her teeth are going to start to chatter to indicate to us all that she's cold and she must be warmed up. So it's another little challenge we've got to be prepared for. It's only a small little feature, the teeth chattering, but adds that realism to the game. And, I mean, let's face it, looking at the trailers, it is a completely Arctic environment. It's something that I'm sure we all expected when you hear Below Zero. And it's going to be a main factor in the challenge of the game. Something I have been excited to talk about is the vehicles. This time in Subnautica Below Zero, we have some new vehicles to play around in. This does mean we've lost a few of the old ones, but believe me when I tell you, they've been replaced with some amazing bits of tech. For example, the sea truck. And the only way I can explain the sea truck, imagine an underwater train. You can extend it, almost like adding on carriages to it, upgrade it with more tech to improve the depths you can go to, its defences, and that's not all. They've added another vehicle which can just shoot across the Arctic terrain above the water, called the Snow Fox. It's pretty much a high-tech motorbike slash quad bike. Once again, can be customised and upgraded to suit you. But just the two additions of these, I mean, when I played the standard Subnautica for the console, I absolutely loved the submarine, if you like. I loved kitting out as if it was the home. It felt secure and safe, and it was just, I was amazed by the amount of different things you could do to it. Loved it. Absolutely loved it, and I'm intrigued by this sea train. I just think it's going to be brilliant, and the fact that this time there is a lot more you can do above the water, I think you are going to need something like this Snow Fox. I cannot wait to see what little bits we've got in store for us. So now we move on to a few familiar faces in the fauna department, from the pesky crashfish, from the bladderfish, and so many more. The ones we remember from the standard Subnautica. Only this time we've got a few different versions of the fish we remembered, like the peeperfish, for example, is the Arctic peeperfish. But there's a few more monstrous faces that we've got to meet for the first time. From the friendly looking, to the aggressive looking, all the way through to the absolutely not playing anymore, not going further, not going deeper, that is me done with this game looking. The team really have worked on the wild sea creatures here, even adding amazing little twists to the penguins. I mean, look at them. Look at the beautiful buggers. Honestly, I'm terrified of it, but I honestly cannot wait to jump in, meet a few of these guys, and avoid the others. So, biomes. Although it feels like Subnautica, this time around we do have some more beautiful new biomes to explore. From Arctic waters, thermal spires, twisted bridges and so much more. And this time, like I mentioned before, the ability to explore even further above the water. From what we remember from standard Subnautica, a few islands, and maybe even some frozen rivers. And why not check out the ice sheets? This time there is so much more to explore. I mean, look at the map. There is region after region, and a lot of that is going to be above the water. I cannot wait to check it all out. So now we've got game modes. For new players of Subnautica, a small bit of background info for you. You're given a few modes to choose from. Survival, where you've got to manage your oxygen levels, food and water levels, all to keep your health at a good standard. It's a simple little HUD, as you can see here, but brilliant in its simplicity. And then you have a hardcore mode, which means permadeath. Death is death. You are gone. Whatever progress you've made, you die, it is gone. You start at the beginning again. As it says in the title, it's a hardcore mode. It's brutal. Or you've got the laid back creative mode, enabling players to fully explore without caring about your health, hunger. You can just look at the view, build where you want to your heart's content. And then below zero, these amazing choices, they're all back. So there's no excuses for getting out there to explore the different biomes for all of us survival fans. Some that, like me, petrified of what you want to see, but you do it anyway. Or for the hardcore players that just absolutely go for it, don't care what they come across, nothing fears them. This is for you. This is the mode that we all loved, and they're all back again. Well, that's pretty much it. There's so many other little bits that I could get out to you all, but I don't want to bore you guys completely. I know these are just a few things to get excited about, but what we all wanted was a bit more news, and at the moment there just isn't any news for me to update you on. Only other than what I've given you, really. As soon as we do get that news, trust me, rest assured, you're going to have that information. You're not alone. I want this game. In my opinion, Subnautica is hands down one of the best games ever made. I look for any excuse to get back into it again. I actually platinumed it on the PlayStation, and still to this day I want to go back on it and just carry it. There's nothing more for me to gain from the game. I just love the world so much. It's one of those games that I recommend to people, and some people have never heard of it, and I envy them. Envy thinking that they've got no knowledge of this game. If I could wipe one game from my memory, it'd probably be Subnautica, because it is just amazing. I could play it over and over. So that is how much I wish there was information to give you guys. It's just not there yet, but when it is, trust me, I'll get it out to you. Thank you for watching today, everyone. If you did enjoy this upload, hit the like button. While you're at it, check out the channel for everything survival on console. If you like what you see, hit subscribe, put notifications on. As soon as anything's out, you're going to get the information straight away. Stay safe, everyone, and as always, thank you and goodbye.